All right, guys, so this segment of Raising Well Children talks about the words that we speak into our kids and how important they are. So I was, a student of, mental health and a student of, positive affirmation, a student of psychology, self-help, all those things for many, many years. And I learned that the story we play about ourselves in our mind is one of the most powerful things that we will tell ourselves that will help create and shape our future. So biblically, we know that it says that the power of life and death is in the tongue. And so we need to make sure that we speak life at all times, whenever we possibly can, to our children to help create that story that they're playing in their mind about their identity, about who they are, what they're created for, all those different things. So what we speak into our kids will largely help shape what their potential is and will be very influential in terms of how they view themselves, how well they are, how much they sort of chase after different dreams and really try to pursue the things that God made them for. So the way that I heard it best is when we're speaking into children is we want to try to give them an identity to live up to. People love to be able to try to meet the challenges and expectations of others. So oftentimes, I would find myself, if I was contending with an issue in our house, a challenge with one of our kids, I would oftentimes find myself wanting to say something to the effect of, why are you, doing something so bad, or, framing it in a way that actually makes that child view themselves as being bad. And what I learned over the years is to try my best to reframe that, to give them a stronger identity to try to shoot towards. So oftentimes I would be, trying to speak into my children in a way that would say something instead of, hey, little Johnny, you're so bad. Why are you doing this? Stop being so bad, blah, blah, blah. I would try to say something to the effect of, hey, you know what? That choice doesn't really seem like the real you. The person I know is loving and they're caring and they're always willing to share and they're making great choices. It's interesting to me that what you just did doesn't really line up with who you are. And so when we reframe that and give them a sense of what that expectation is, they're easily able to identify what they want to be able to work towards. We don't want our kids running around thinking they're bad. We don't want our kids running around thinking they're useless. Or, even if your child is under the weather frequently, you don't want to be walking around saying stuff like, oh my gosh, you're always so sick, or why are you always run down, or this or that. What you want to try to do is speak into them and say things like, oh my goodness, you're going to keep getting stronger and stronger. We got this. Your body's going to heal through this. We're going to make sure that everything that needs to happen to get you well and on your way is able to take place. Start calling your kids the things that they should become and that you know that God created them to become. Call them strong, call them healthy, call them leaders, call them beautiful, call them all those things, and watch them develop into that, because the power of life and death is in the tongue, right? I remember when I was in my late 20s, I was running on a regular basis with this running group, and one of the people in the running group said to me, hey Matt, how did you become such a good hill runner, right? How are you so good at running up hills? And to be honest with you, I never actually even knew that I was a strong hill runner. But I'll tell you that once that person gave me that reputation of being a strong hill runner, guess what I did every single time I got on a hill with that running group? I always tried to lead the pack and be the strongest hill runner up there, because somebody gave me a positive reputation and I really felt like I wanted to uphold that. So it guided my choices, it guided my efforts, it guided everything. And when I read that in a psychology book later on, that people love to try to have a reputation to uphold, that story came to mind for me immediately at how I went to such great lengths and efforts to be what it was that somebody claimed I was. And I believe our children will respond very, very similar when we give them beautiful identities, we speak into them the way that God sees them, and we'll see those kids prosper and be well. So a lot of times we don't give enough emphasis on how powerful our minds are in creating our futures, and that applies for our children. As parents, it's our job to help them shape their minds and have their identities of who they are, because that will help map out their futures. I hope this has been helpful for you guys, and we look forward to seeing you on the next segment.